Picture this. You wake up Friday morning as a tech company executive, and by noon, your entire hiring strategy has been blown to smithereens. President Trump just signed one of the most dramatic immigration proclamations in decades, a staggering $100,000 annual fee for every single H-1B visa holder. That's not a one-time payment, folks. That's $100,000 every single year for up to 6 years. We're talking about a potential $600,000 investment per foreign worker. This isn't just immigration policy. This is economic warfare against the established system. Companies like Amazon, Microsoft, and Google are scrambling right now because this changes everything. The era of cheap foreign labor flooding American tech jobs might have just ended with the stroke of a pen, and the implications are absolutely massive. Let's break down exactly what Trump signed and why this is sending shockwaves through corporate boardrooms across America. The proclamation, titled Restriction on Entry of Certain Non-Immigrant Workers, fundamentally rewrites the rules of the H-1B program. Under the new system, any company wanting to bring in foreign workers on H-1B visas must pay an eye-watering $100,000 fee annually. This fee applies to new applications and renewals, meaning companies are looking at a 6-year commitment of $600,000 per worker if they want to keep them for the maximum duration allowed. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick made the administration's position crystal clear during the Oval Office signing ceremony, stating that companies must decide whether foreign workers are truly valuable enough to justify this massive expense, or if they should simply hire Americans instead. The proclamation includes a national interest exception clause, allowing case-by-case exemptions, but these will likely be rare and heavily scrutinized. The timing of this announcement sent immediate ripples through financial markets, with IT consulting stocks like Accenture and Cognizant Technology hitting session lows within hours. But Trump brushed off concerns about tech industry pushback, confidently stating that companies would be very happy with the changes because they create certainty and eliminate the current lottery system's unpredictability. The president emphasized that this policy forces companies to make a clear choice, either pay premium prices for truly exceptional foreign talent or invest in training American workers instead. To understand why this policy is so revolutionary, we need to examine how the H-1B system actually works and how it's been exploited for decades. The H-1B visa program was created in 1990 during the tech boom, designed to allow American companies to hire highly skilled foreign workers when qualified Americans weren't available. The program was supposed to supplement, not replace, the American workforce in specialized fields requiring at least a bachelor's degree. Originally capped at 65,000 visas annually, with an additional 20,000 for those with advanced degrees, the system seemed reasonable on paper. However, reality tells a very different story. The current system operates through a lottery mechanism that has become increasingly problematic. Companies submit applications during a brief registration period, and USCIS randomly selects winners from the pool. The existing fees are minimal, just $215 for lottery registration, plus various filing fees totaling a few $1,000s at most. This low barrier to entry created a perfect storm for abuse. Consulting companies, particularly Indian outsourcing giants like Tata Consultancy Services, Infosys, and Wipro, began flooding the lottery with thousands of applications, effectively gaming the system through sheer volume. These firms discovered they could submit multiple applications for the same worker or create duplicate positions to increase their odds of winning. Bloomberg investigations revealed that staffing companies were capturing roughly half of all available visas, often paying workers as little as $60,000 annually, while contracting them to major corporations at much higher rates. This created a profitable middleman system that undermined both American workers and legitimate H-1B holders who deserved fair compensation. The extent of H-1B abuse is staggering and well documented. Multiple government investigations have exposed systematic fraud that has operated with impunity for years. Infosys, one of India's largest IT consulting firms, paid a record $34 million settlement in 2013 for what federal prosecutors called systemic visa fraud and abuse of immigration processes. The company was caught using B-1 visitor visas to bring in workers who should have been on H-1Bs, essentially circumventing the entire oversight system.
system. But the fraud goes much deeper than paperwork violations. These consulting companies perfected a business model that exploits both the visa system and American workers. They would win H-1B lotteries for workers they'd pay $60,000 to $80,000 annually, then contract those same workers to major corporations like Disney, Southern California Edison, and numerous banks for $100,000 to $150,000 per year. The consulting firms pocketed the difference while American workers were laid off and replaced. In some cases, American employees were forced to train their foreign replacements as a condition of receiving severance packages, a humiliating end to decades-long careers. The USCIS acknowledged in 2024 that lottery fraud had become so pervasive that they implemented emergency reforms limiting each individual worker to one lottery entry regardless of how many job offers they received. This single change caused H-1B applications to plummet by nearly 40%, proving that a massive portion of previous applications were fraudulent duplicates. The Government Accountability Office has repeatedly warned Congress about these abuses, but meaningful reform never materialized until now. Labor unions like the AFL-CIO have documented case after case of American workers being displaced by cheaper foreign alternatives, particularly in IT and engineering fields where young American graduates find themselves priced out of entry-level positions.
The statistics reveal corporate America's overwhelming dependence on the H-1B program and why Trump's fee will be so disruptive. Amazon leads the pack with over 10,000 H-1B workers on their payroll as of 2024, making them by far the largest user of the program. Microsoft, Apple, Google, Meta, and other tech giants each employ thousands of H-1B holders, creating massive financial exposure under the new fee structure. But here's what makes this particularly explosive. These companies have been paying bargain basement prices for this workforce while generating trillion-dollar valuations. Let's do the math. Amazon's 10,000 H-1B workers will now cost them $1 billion annually in fees alone. That's before salary, benefits, and other costs. Microsoft's thousands of H-1B employees represent hundreds of millions in new expenses. For consulting companies like Tata Consultancy Services, Cognizant, and Ernst & Young, which have built their entire business models around low-cost H-1B labor arbitrage, these fees are potentially existential threats. Their profit margins evaporate when they're forced to pay $100,000 per worker annually to the government. The corporate response has been predictably panicked. While Trump claims companies are very happy with the changes, major tech firms decline to comment when asked by reporters, suggesting they're frantically calculating the financial impact and consulting legal teams about potential challenges. The administration clearly anticipated this reaction, with Commerce Secretary Lutnick explaining that the high fees will naturally reduce H-1B usage because it's just not economic anymore for many positions. This forces a fundamental question. If foreign workers were truly irreplaceable specialists, companies should have no problem paying premium prices. If they were simply cheaper alternatives to American workers, the business case collapses under the new fee structure. The human cost of H-1B abuse extends far beyond statistics and corporate profits. Tens of thousands of American workers, particularly in STEM fields, have seen their career prospects systematically undermined by a program that was supposed to supplement, not replace, domestic talent. Fresh computer science graduates from American universities often find themselves competing against foreign workers willing to accept significantly lower wages, creating a vicious cycle that depresses compensation across entire industries. The Economic Policy Institute has documented extensive wage theft within the H-1B program, showing that many foreign workers are paid below prevailing wages, while American workers are either displaced entirely or see their compensation stagnate. This creates what economists call a race to the bottom effect, where even Americans lucky enough to keep their jobs face downward pressure on salaries and working conditions. The program has particularly damaged opportunities for recent graduates and mid-career professionals in technology, engineering, and finance sectors.
That the damage extends beyond individual careers to America's educational and innovation ecosystem. When young Americans see limited opportunities in STEM fields, despite investing years and significant money in technical education, they naturally gravitate toward other careers. This brain drain weakens America's long-term competitiveness and creates dangerous dependencies on foreign expertise. The Trump administration's White House fact sheet explicitly identifies this as a national security threat.
arguing that systematic displacement of American workers in critical technology sectors compromises the country's strategic independence. Trump's new fee structure directly addresses these concerns by making foreign workers significantly more expensive than their American counterparts. When companies face $100,000 annual fees, plus salaries, benefits, and legal costs, the total cost of H-1B workers often exceeds what they'd pay American employees. This creates powerful economic incentives for companies to invest in domestic talent through training programs, competitive compensation, and career development initiatives that have been neglected for decades.
While cracking down on H-1B abuse, Trump simultaneously launched an entirely new pathway for wealthy immigrants through what he's calling the Gold Card program. This isn't just immigration reform. It's the creation of a luxury citizenship marketplace that could generate hundreds of billions in government revenue. The Gold Card offers a direct path to American citizenship for $1 million or $2 million if sponsored by a corporation. But that's just the beginning of Trump's innovative approach to immigration monetization. The program includes an even more exclusive Trump Platinum Card, priced at $5 million, allowing foreigners to spend up to 270 days annually in the United States without being subject to American taxes on their foreign income. This creates an attractive option for wealthy international business people, investors, and entrepreneurs who want significant American access without full tax obligations. Commerce Secretary Lutnick explained that these programs will replace most existing employment-based green card pathways, fundamentally restructuring how America approaches high-skilled immigration. The financial implications are staggering. If just 10,000 people purchase gold cards annually, that generates $10 billion in immediate government revenue. Add in platinum card sales and H-1B fees, and Trump's immigration reforms could produce $50 billion or more in annual income for the federal government. The president made it clear this money will fund tax reductions, debt reduction, and other domestic priorities, essentially making immigration policy pay for itself while serving American interests. Critics immediately questioned the legality of these fees, with former Biden administration officials calling the policies ludicrously lawless and predicting court challenges. However, Trump's team appears confident in their legal foundation, with Lutnick explaining that H-1B fees and gold cards can be implemented through executive action, while only the platinum card requires congressional approval. This suggests the administration conducted extensive legal review before announcing these dramatic changes.
The immediate market reaction to Trump's announcement revealed just how dependent certain industries have become on cheap H-1B labor. Stocks of major consulting and outsourcing companies plummeted within hours, with investors recognizing that entire business models might become unviable overnight. Accenture, Cognizant Technology Solutions, and other firms that built their competitive advantages on labor arbitrage through the H-1B system saw their share prices crater as analysts calculated the devastating impact of $100,000 annual fees per worker. Indian IT giants face particularly severe exposure. Tata Consultancy Services, Infosys, Wipro, and HCL Technologies have collectively employed tens of thousands of H-1B workers, generating billions in revenue by contracting them to American corporations at substantial markups. Under Trump's new fee structure, these companies must either absorb massive new costs that eliminate their profit margins, pass those costs on to clients and risk losing business to American competitors, or fundamentally restructure their operations around domestic hiring. The ripple effects extend far beyond obvious targets. Major banks, healthcare systems, universities, and manufacturing companies have quietly relied on H-1B workers for everything from software development to specialized research positions. J.P. Morgan Chase, Walmart, Deloitte, and countless household names now face difficult decisions about their foreign worker strategies. Some may conclude that truly exceptional talent justifies the premium costs, while others will likely shift toward domestic hiring and training programs. However, not all market reactions have been negative. Stocks of American staffing agencies, domestic technology consulting firms, and companies focused on American worker training have seen increases as investors anticipate a shift in demand. Educational technology companies and vocational training providers could benefit enormously if corporations start investing seriously in developing American talent rather than importing foreign alternatives.
Trump's H-1B bombshell represents more than immigration policy. It's a masterful political maneuver that addresses multiple constituencies while generating massive government revenue. The move satisfies immigration hawks who have long criticized H-1B abuse, appeals to American workers who felt abandoned by previous administrations, and creates substantial funding for other Trump priorities without raising taxes on American citizens or businesses. The timing is particularly strategic. By implementing these changes early in his term, Trump can point to concrete results: rising wages for American workers, increased domestic hiring, and billions in new government revenue well before the next election cycle. Companies that initially resist will likely adapt and eventually champion the changes once they see the benefits of investing in American talent. This creates a self-reinforcing political dynamic that makes reversal by future administrations increasingly difficult. The international implications are equally significant. Other countries with large H-1B populations, particularly India, face difficult diplomatic choices. They can either negotiate bilateral agreements that provide alternative pathways for their citizens, or watch their tech sector talent flows redirect toward countries with more accommodating immigration policies. This gives Trump substantial leverage in trade negotiations and other diplomatic contexts. Looking ahead, we can expect intense legal challenges, corporate lobbying, and political pressure as affected industries attempt to water down or delay implementation. However, Trump's team appears to have anticipated this resistance and structured the policies to maximize legal defensibility while creating immediate economic pressures that make delay costly for everyone involved. The ultimate success will depend on whether American companies and workers can successfully adapt to a system that prioritizes domestic talent development over foreign labor arbitrage. The broader message is clear. The era of treating American immigration policy as a corporate cost-cutting tool is over. Trump is forcing a fundamental choice: either pay premium prices for truly exceptional foreign talent or invest in the American workforce that elected him to protect their interests.